talk about one of the questions that I get asked all the time, and it is simply, why do I feel so anxious in relationships? And I want to start with a clear distinction here between healthy anxiety and anxiety that is more leaning towards this kind of anxious attachment style. Anxiety is a healthy human emotion. It is literally your body's way of telling you that something is off and that something isn't sitting well with you. That's all anxiety is. When we lean to a more anxious attachment style, it's indicating that we don't know how to process our emotions and our anxiety on our own, and we are dependent or overly reliant on someone else's behavior, maybe them calling, texting, showing interest in us, reassuring us. We are dependent on that from them in order to feel calm and regulate and feel secure again. So when you recognize that distinction, hopefully that will help you see, am I just experiencing anxiety or am I leaning more anxiously attached? And when you notice yourself panicking, spiraling, overanalyzing, overthinking, second guessing, worrying, wondering what they're doing, where are they, why haven't I heard from them, and you can't turn off these thoughts, and you're noticing the panic in your body, your hands are clammy, your stomach is in knots, you have a pit in your stomach. When you notice this anxiety coming up within you when somebody is pulling away or inconsistent or sending mixed signals, just know that this is your nervous system telling you that there is a threat, right? Because your nervous system is perceiving space and distance as a threat to your safety and to your survival. And why would that be? Why do we have this anxious attachment style? If you grow up in a home where your parent is inconsistent and sometimes present and available and sometimes not, this feels very threatening to your nervous system because you are dependent on your parent and caregiver for your survival. So if we feel some semblance of emotional disconnection, not just physical disconnection and physical abandonment, but emotional abandonment, if we don't feel like our parent or caregiver is present for us and able to soothe us and be there for us in the way that we need and meet our needs, this feels very threatening. So our nervous system begins to code this sort of space and distance as a threat. So then in adulthood, when someone is distant or sending mixed signals or inconsistent, our nervous system fires up because it is perceiving a threat all over again. And the good news is that you can begin to help your nervous system see that this space, distance, inconsistency is not a threat to you like it once was, because now as an adult, you can develop skills, internal resources, and ways to be there for yourself that you couldn't as a child, and you can help yourself feel safe regardless of what other people do or don't do. This is why we feel anxious in relationships, because we are subconsciously operating off of a blueprint from long ago that tells us that we can only feel safe based on what other people do. We can only feel secure based on what other people do. And this is really called emotional outsourcing, right? When we outsource our emotional security and put it in the hands of someone else. That is really what's going on. And that's why we feel so anxious, because when we're anxiously attached, we are subconsciously operating off of a belief that I can only feel secure or enough or important or worthy or deserving if somebody else does XYZ. And it's going to vary a little bit from person to person what that core feeling or need is. And I want you to get curious about, what is that for you? If someone is pulling away or inconsistent or distant, what do you feel like you can't get met without them? Is it a feeling of enoughness? Is it certain needs? Is it love? Is it worthiness? Is it safety? Is it a feeling of importance or like you matter? What do you subconsciously fear is getting taken away from you when you don't hear from them, when they don't want to be in a relationship with you, when they don't choose you, when they don't text you back, or when they're mad at you or there's conflict? What do you subconsciously, deep down in your core, fear is going to happen if they leave? That's the question that you need to answer, because that fear is what is driving your anxiety in relationships and the panic and the overwhelm and the dysregulation that is happening when you sense that you're losing the connection. So, of course, if we are operating from this place, it makes perfect sense why you want their reassurance, right? There's nothing wrong with wanting their reassurance because what's really happening is you're seeking their reassurance so that you can feel safe again, so that you can feel secure. It's not about the text when the phone lights up. It's not just, oh, I'm getting a text or a call. What's happening deeper is, oh, I'm getting that reassurance. I'm getting that hit of security. I'm getting that hit of, I'm enough. I matter. I'm important. My needs are going to get met, right? That's what's really happening at the root here. So when you don't get their reassurance, that's again fueling the cycle all over again because without their reassurance, then I'm feeling like I can't get my feeling of safety or security or importance or enoughness or worthiness. And so even when we do get the reassurance, it's like a temporary band-aid because as soon as it goes away again, we're back to zero. And this is why we have to stop outsourcing our emotional security. This is why we need to be able to cultivate this from within. And so I want to offer you a simple exercise, a simple question to begin to give yourself a feeling of emotional security that isn't dependent on the other person. Because when you can do this, when you can calm yourself and offer yourself the feeling of I'm enough, I'm important, I'm worthy, when you know you can get your own needs met without them, then what they do or don't do isn't going to send you into a panic because you're going to realize, oh, I can give that to myself. My needs are not dependent on them. My ability to feel emotionally secure isn't dependent on them. So when you are operating from that blueprint, then what they do or don't do isn't going to send you spiraling and isn't going to leave you anxious. So I want you to remind yourself, number one, reassurance can be supportive, right? My getting reassurance from them can feel good, but it is not my source of safety. I can give myself what I'm seeking from them. Remind yourself of that. Whenever you catch yourself panicking, remind yourself, I can give myself what I'm seeking from them. That is the first reminder that's going to put your nervous system at ease because you're no longer looking outside of yourself. You're no longer dependent on them for the thing. You're showing yourself and your system that you can start giving yourself that thing. So before you reach out for comfort, before you call them for the third time, I want you to pause and ask yourself, what am I hoping they'll give me in this moment? And how can I give it to myself? What am I hoping they'll give me in this moment? And how can I give it to myself? Take a breath and realize that this is a journey. This is a process. You are learning and discovering, what am I feeling? What needs do I worry are going unmet? And I'm learning, how can I start to give these needs to myself, either internally or externally? I want to emphasize that when we're talking about meeting our needs on our own, I'm not talking about being alone all the time and just internally fulfilling your needs. I'm talking about seeking the appropriate and healthy external sources. I want you to stop seeking your needs externally from the person who continues to show you that they cannot or will not meet your needs. Who are those healthy people? What are those healthy outlets, community supports that can give you what you need? And when we can begin to fulfill our own needs, at least 50%, and feel in control of giving ourselves what it is that we are wanting from that other person, our dependence on them begins to drop and our anxiety in relationships begins to drop. Hope that this has been helpful, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.